everyone, my name is Liz I Read, and welcome to another video. And today I am reviewing the book Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. I'm going to tell you that there's going to be spoilers for King of Scars, and not just King of Scars, but also the Shadow and Bone trilogy and also the Six of Crows duology, because a lot of stuff happens in here involving all the characters in the previous books. So just be warned of that. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you leave the video and come back when you've read the book. So this is book 2 in Nikolai's duology. This is like the second series in the Grishaverse, and this is the sequel to King of Scars. We continue on with Nikolai and Zoya's story and also Nina's story, and I really enjoyed this installment in this series specifically. In this series in general, I can tell that the author has decided to make this the continuing series after both series previous. So after Shadow and Bone and Six of Crows, this is definitely the sequel after those two series, because every character that you can think of from both series is pretty much in here. I'm not going to tell anyone that you must read both series before, but just be warned, like every character that you can think of is pretty much in this book, and things will be spoiled from for the previous books. We left off with a cliffhanger of the Darkling being resurrected, and there is stuff involving that, but this book is ultimately a war book. This book is about Nikolai leading his country against war, basically against the Farad'n, and there's a lot of politics that happen in here. There's a lot of scheming. He was left with potential fiance. Things develop between him and Zoya in this book as well. And so there's all that stuff going on. And then there's Nina's story, where she is staying with her friend and Brum. I forget what her first name is. Is it Hannah? I think it's Hannah. She's staying with Hannah, and she is the daughter of Gerald Brum, and they're staying together, and Nina is pretending to be Mina, I think it was her pretend name, and she's pretending to be a widower, and she's staying with Hannah and kind of scheming and doing espionage, I guess that's the right word. She's basically a spy for Ravka, and she is getting intel on the Farad'n side and learning about what Gerald Brum is doing and kind of preparing Nikolai for when they attack and things like that. I loved Nina's story. I honestly think that was my favorite part of this book. This flowed a lot better for me. In book 1, I felt like it was very segregated, both of the storylines. They were so separate, but with this one, since it was mostly about the war, and since Nina was a lot more involved in the war and helping gather information for Nikolai, I felt like the storylines worked a lot better. Even though they were still pretty separate and they were doing their own thing, I felt like it was more a cohesive story. So I did enjoy this a lot more than King of Scars. And I enjoyed Nina's storyline because her and Hannah, I think that's her name. If I'm wrong, I'm terribly sorry. But they go to balls and stuff, and they are trying to get close to the prince and get information from the prince. Nina is trying to manipulate the queen and make her believe that the saints have power, because the prince of Farad'n is really ill, and she's trying to convince the queen that if she prays more to the saints that he will get better. So I love the scheming Nina does in this one a lot, and I enjoy the development of her relationship with Hannah, and I just loved that so much. And then there is Nikolai's story, basically the war stuff. Things with the Darkling did progress, and we did get to have some perspective from him, which I really enjoyed, but I was disappointed with the Darkling stuff. I was expecting a lot more, and there wasn't. Things did progress with Nikolai's romance. One big critique I have is the romance in both storylines. I wasn't like super crazy about either one. It was fine, like I didn't dislike it or anything, but at some point I wasn't even sure if Nina and Hannah were in a romantic relationship. I couldn't tell if things were actually developing there. We did get confirmation. I guess I just wasn't feeling it as much. And then I wasn't feeling it as much with Nikolai and Zoya. Like I said, I don't like dislike them together, but I was really hoping like a really epic angsty romance for Nikolai because he's so charming and a lot of fun. And this romance just like kind of fell flat for me. I did like the twists at the end with Nikolai, but not as much as I did with Nina. So I can't talk too much about that stuff until the end in the spoiler section. So yeah, this was really good. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot. This trilogy isn't like my favorite, but it was a good solid installment, and I definitely enjoyed it a lot more than I did with King of Scars. So I'm gonna go into the spoiler section of this review. David's death, that was hard. It didn't hit me as strongly because I actually put the book down right at that reveal, and then I came back to the book around there. Like I took like a few weeks off from reading, and so it didn't hit me as much as I probably would have if I read it continuously. It's a bit of a surprise, but definitely was a good death, I think, to make the stakes feel high. So I do appreciate that. The things with the Darkling, I don't know. It was kind of interesting to read from his perspective, but I really wanted more. I was hoping for maybe a redemption arc from him, or him to help with the fighting for Ravka and the war, but he didn't really do that. I did enjoy his perspective, and it got more clarification of whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, and I felt like he is more of a bad guy, which I guess is helpful to put things in perspective. Felt like that storyline just fell flat. Like I felt like what was the point of resurrecting him except to maybe set up another book later. I think maybe that's what happened. I don't know. I still am holding out hope for him and Alina. I know that sounds silly, but because it seems like Alina and Mel are pretty much endgame, but nothing much happened with the Darkling. I did enjoy all the war stuff. I thought that was really cool. I enjoyed seeing Zoya coming into herself. I wasn't sure how I felt about her becoming her becoming queen at the end. That was kind of a fun twist, and I actually didn't see it coming, but I was just like, okay, that's fine, I guess, sure, whatever. Nina, there was a couple twists at the end that were super good. One of them was confused by whether I understood it right or not, specifically with the prince's bodyguard, whether I understood that as that was Matthias's brother and he actually killed him. Either way, I'm pretty sure he's the one who killed Matthias, and I thought that was a really good twist. I didn't see that coming. That was great. And then the ending with Hannah becoming like the prince, oh my gosh, I was totally for that. That was amazing. I thought she was actually dead. Like I honestly thought she was dead, and then he was acting strange. Oh my goodness, that was amazing. I honestly want more of them. I want Nina and Hannah's story, because I'm like, oh my goodness, you totally just became the prince. She tailored herself to look like the prince, and now she's pretending to be the prince, and Nina's with her, and I'm just like so obsessed by that. I thought that was amazing. Like that was the best part. Those twists were the best part of the whole book. I think was not expecting it. It was fun seeing the crows again. There was a bit of a heist, which was great. I really enjoyed seeing them. That was a lot of fun. A few disappointments, especially with the Darkling, but that's okay. Also, the setup for the next book, that was fun. I liked seeing the Darkling kind of sacrifice himself, has that thorn stuck in him, and that is to save the world, I guess. They need him to be there. And I like the setup of the next heist book. So I'm excited about that. That's what I mean by like, I'm holding out hope for the Darkling. He's an eternal being. Like that's the way I view him. He's an eternal being. Him and Zoya and probably Alina. Like I'm still holding out hope for Alina. Like I think she is still Grisha. but maybe not. I have no idea. We have to see where this series goes. But after this book, I definitely felt like, okay, this series is never going to end. And I'm all for that. I'm so happy about that. It's going to be sad when it ends. But I like how it's never going to end. I'm enjoying that because there will always be a new book coming out and I can pick it up and enjoy it. So that is my review for this book. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions about this book. What are your thoughts about the Darkling? Did you like it in this book or did you not? I'd love to know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you have not done so. You can follow me on Goodreads and Instagram. And you know what? I want you to keep reading. Bye.